Good day and welcome to this edition of Healthier, Older and Happier. Hypertension is a symptomless disease usually. By the time people start having symptoms of hypertension, they most likely have complications. Remember, we can only say that your blood pressure is normal when we check. And normal blood pressure is blood pressure where the upper number, the systolic, is less than 120 millimeter of mercury, and the lower number, the diastolic blood pressure, is less than 80 millimeter of mercury. Hypertension or high blood pressure is said to exist when the systolic blood pressure is 140 millimeter of mercury or higher, and or the diastolic blood pressure is 90 millimeter of mercury or higher. It is possible that without any prior history of hypertension in your family, someone could have hypertension.
Chronic stress accelerates aging. Whereas when we are not facing that kind of situation, another kind of activation occurs in our nervous system. So if you remember, the first kind of activation I just talked about was that activation that enables us to respond to stressful or threatening situations as the brain interprets it, and it is called the sympathetic nervous system that enables us to fight back or to take our flight and escape.
The likelihood of increase in blood pressure is higher as you and I get older. However, we are seeing more and more young people who have high blood pressure. The only way to know is to check. And remember, hypertension is a disease of both the old and the young. If the blood pressure is between 120 to 139 systolic and or 80 to 89 diastolic, that blood pressure is in the range called pre-hypertension. Pre-hypertension happens before hypertension. That is the blood pressure range before stage 1 hypertension.
Rest is whatever we do to improve our physical and mental well-being.
A genetic predisposition to developing hypertension does not necessarily mean that you as an individual will develop it. So what is lifestyle modification? It's a composite of behavior changes that include regular exercises, healthy food, healthy eating habits, getting adequate sleep and rest, stopping smoking, and limiting alcohol intake. So these are things that we should be looking at if we are to move your blood pressure, my blood pressure, from the pre-hypertension range to normal range. Reducing sodium intake, reducing salt intake is one way to reduce blood pressure.
The people who live longest are those people who eat less. So if there's something we need to think about seriously in this year 2025 and going forward, we need to stop and think about whether we are eating to live or whether we are living to eat.
In 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8, the Bible says, bodily exercise profits little, but godliness is profitable in all things, having benefits for this world and for the world after now. When I look at the body of evidence concerning how effective bodily exercise is in preventing cardiovascular diseases, stroke, heart disease, cancers, osteoporosis, falls, and a lot of other diseases, and I put it beside the scriptures that say this is little, I'm asking myself, what does this mean? What this means to me is this: while we make all the investments that we should deliberately make to be sure that we engage in behaviors that promote healthy living, we should also make even more investments in godliness, because those investments will also count not only for our health benefits but for other benefits. Daily salt intake should not exceed 5 grams of salt. What is 5 grams of salt? 5 grams of salt is a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of salt. For children, the recommendation is that the total intake of salt in a day should not be more than 2 grams of salt. So if 5 grams of salt is a teaspoon, 2 grams of salt is less than half a teaspoon. Life has meaning. Life is more meaningful when we live for purpose. So, for people who are aged 6 to 12 years old, they require about 12 hours of sleep every day. For those who are between ages 13 to 18, those are the people we call teenagers, they require 8 to 10 hours of sleep every day. Adults, that is people aged 18 years and over, require 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day. Research has shown that when we are stressed, we produce chemical substances in our bodies that are inflammatory and accelerate the process of aging. Whereas when we step down and manage our stress better, we produce another kind of hormones that enable our bodies to recover. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. We'd also like you to stay updated on our content by hitting the notification button, and do please share with your loved ones. For more exclusive content, you could visit our website at aituaje.com, aituaje.com. We could also connect on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon. Look forward to seeing you next time.